This is just a short piece that I wrote based on an experience that I had in the People's Republic of China. Several years ago I had an opportunity to teach English there. So this is an experience that I had while there. This is a creative nonfiction essay. Things have changed dramatically since I've been there, so this may seem a little bit dated, but let's give it a go and see how it goes. The October sun fussed and finally found a small alleyway through the city's blackish-gray smog. Mark, Scott, and I stood waiting for the bus. Two Chinese women waited underneath the terrace. A few spindly wisps of black and gray hair escaped beneath the tight bands of their wool knit hats. Their faces were taut leather, stretched up and disappearing into the brownish caps. One woman peered anxiously in the direction of the sun, which illuminated the spiderweb lines etched under her eyes. The other woman carried a small plastic shopping bag that dangled off her arm. The bag contorted to accommodate the many curved, sharp, and elongated objects of the morning shopping. The bus came out of the smog and the sun. Its electric wires sizzled and exploded like firecrackers. The rusting giant came to an abrupt stop in front of the terrace. Of the handful of people aboard, a few lurched slightly forward. As soon as the doors opened, Mark grabbed me and started pushing. I understood and grabbed and pushed back. "I'm getting on first." "No, you're not. Get out of my way." "Forget it, mate." We didn't let go of each other nor move any closer to actually getting on the bus, both of us wanting to prolong the parody. The women in unison turned up their eyebrows and cautiously stepped out of the way. Several amused, bodiless heads were sticking out from the windows of the bus. I thought of the city bus I tried to get on in Beijing. The day was pleasant, warm, and quiet. I was sitting under a tree on the curb with what seemed like a handful of people. As soon as the bus pulled within 40 feet of where we were sitting, the handful of people turned into a rampaging herd. People came out of trees, from behind buildings, all converging on the bus. I stood on the curb and helplessly watched the madness. Children started crying. A tremendous cloud of feet, arms, legs, and heads kicked and scratched and pushed for position amidst a rising billow of dust. An older woman carrying a small child fell to her knees just to the side of the ominous cloud. She quickly rose to her feet, ducked her head, and plunged again into the tornado. I decided to wait for the next bus after witnessing the melee. Hundreds of starved piranhas after a lone goldfish. However, I learned after the second bus and brawl that if I was to catch a ride, I would have to become a piranha. When the third bus pulled up 50 feet away from the curb, I dashed in the direction of the bus and found myself in the middle of a human hurricane. Once inside the storm, a little old man with razor elbows and two dainty-looking grandmothers half my size literally picked me up and threw me into the sardine can. Mark had similar experiences, as did Scott, as did every foreigner in China, from Guangzhou to Shanghai to Beijing to Chongqing. I've learned that China's history is tainted with famine. The people have long lived without and today feel they must fight to live with. Round one at the city bus stop is no joke. We all got on the bus in Chongqing, including the frightened women. I stuck my head out a window. The alleyway broadened into a boulevard. The afternoon sun shone more clearly. A rusting giant jerked forward and a firecracker exploded.